just after the president's so-called Liberation Day tariffs. You liken them and the additional cost to drawing upon the playbooks from past rotating UAW strikes, COVID, the great financial crisis, the chip crisis, all rolled together. We were pretty shocked about those comments because you said it was big. Is it still that big of an impact? Has it been that big of an impact?
Hi, good afternoon. Thanks for having me. Yes, there has been a lot of dynamic challenges in the industry, as you know. And when you spoke to me last, it was fresh, at that time. As we sit here and look at it, I think our annualized tariff impact is roughly in the range of 200 million. But we continue to work with our team, with our customers, with our supply base in mitigating as much as possible, adhering to the USMCA compliance. All in all, I think we have been able to, with a lot of self-help, a lot of work with our customers, we've been able to bring down that impact to roughly 10 basis points, which means about 30 million for Magna this year.
So I will say our BI team reacted to our Bloomberg intelligence team, Swamy reacted, and they said they believe that your company's continuous cost cutting and operational excellence could further release margin gains in 2026. And they talk about in the U.S., major customers are benefiting from a more profitable sales mix with higher sales of pickups and SUVs offsetting lower EV production, which should enhance Magna's program economics for upcoming 2026 launches. Do they have it right?
Yes, they do. There's a lot of hard work, and thanks to the team, there's been a lot of traction in our operational activities, including some of the activities that you mentioned, cost restructuring, optimizing our operations. We have really worked through about 40 divisions in terms of restructuring, consolidation, bringing things together. And when the mix and the volume become stable and it comes through, you see profitability going to the bottom line. And that has been our focus: cost reduction, margin expansion, and free cash flow generation. We have talked about 150 basis points over the last 3 years. And I'm glad to say we have an additional visibility of 35 to 40 basis points going into 2026. So this is a journey. It's never going to stop. You're in an industry that we need to constantly work on improvements. We call them continuous improvements, and we're starting to see the result of that.
But you did talk about demand destruction in the short term when we talked with you in April, right after Liberation Day. Has it played out as bad as you expected? And where are we today? Your top customers are a who's who of the global auto industry. So where are we today in that demand destruction? Are we done?
I wish I could have that crystal ball, but the way I look at it is we peaked out as our industry in North America about 17.5 million units. Interestingly, I was looking at the data, go back 20 years in 2004, 2006 timeframe, North American production volumes were somewhere between 15 to 16. We are still at 15 to 16 million units today. I think the volumes held up this year, but I always like to stand back a little and see where was Magna. Magna 20 years ago was a $20 billion company. Today we are a $40 billion company. And it's the result and the efforts of the team to continue to gain CPV and to diversify our customer base. And that's where our focus is, right? And to your point, though, I hope this is the trough. If you look at the average age of the fleet, it's pretty high. The inventories are pretty normal. So I like to say, there is elasticity of demand that's going to come back looking forward if there is no more externalities like we have had in the last 4 years.
Your company is based in Ontario. We are curious about the U.S. and Canada trade negotiations, or lack thereof. Given the impasse between the U.S. and Canada, how is that affecting your industry and you specifically?
Yeah, as you know, auto industry is a very interdependent ecosystem, and it's pretty complex in North America. So it has been challenging, but I would like to look at Magna really as a global company. We have tens of thousands of people in Mexico, in Canada, and in US. And obviously, we are following the footprint of our customers, looking at the economics, looking at transportation, looking at logistics. And that is the competitiveness that ultimately lets you be the player that you are, right? So the focus has been on it. Whatever the policy is, if there is certainty and visibility to the policy going forward, I think it's just going to be a tailwind to everybody, the OEMs and the supply base in all.
But Swamy, is it broken? The U.S., Canada? I mean, it's been so intertwined, really, the North American, global auto supply chain. But is it, especially the U.S. and Canada, is it changed forever?
Again, I'm not an international trade policy expert speaking from a
but you have a great vantage and a great window on how it has worked and how it feels today.
It's definitely been strained, right? There is no question about that. But I've lived in this industry for 26 years, and what we're talking today is going to impact maybe 27 or 28. So we're always looking at what we're doing today impacts 3 or 4 years down the road. What we're doing today has been planned and decided 3 or 4 years ago. So I tend to think a little bit in longer cycles. I'm still hopeful that the policy is going to get to a point where it's mutually beneficial to everyone.
The president in the past, the president of the U.S., has talked about his back and forth in his conversations with executives at North American auto companies. Have you had conversations with the president or his team?
We have had, obviously, a seat at the table in being able to communicate facts, their possible impacts, the challenges of the industry, and what could benefit. I always say we are able to give an opinion, one of the opinions. I hope it's a dot on the chart. And definitely we have talked to all 3 regions, right, expressing what is the jobs that we have, what is the investments that we have made, and how it could impact, right? Definitely that is the conversation that's always ongoing.